Let me share with you a time where I helped decrease waste and the time it took to complete a task. This is when I was working at Heber Valley Hospital as a support services manager. And I realized that the EVS department was having a little trouble with the distribution of linen. Sometimes level counts would be too high, but more importantly, there were times where the counts were too low and caregivers wouldn't have the linen that they needed to take care of a patient. Also, a lot of the staff were confused about when and where and what time they should be putting the linen out. So I expressed my desire to lead a process improvement project to the hospital administrator and the other administrators over EVS. We talked about timetables and my plan and what deliverables were going to be had, essentially the scope of the project. And after that was all hashed out, we got the green light to go ahead and move on the project. And I was excited. So what I did first is I started talking with all the staff. I wanted to understand what some of their hiccups were, what caused the trouble. After that, I realized that I should go and visit some of the other hospitals in our system and see how they distributed linen. So I went to about 3 or 4 different hospitals that were known to do it really well. Then I got in touch with another system level leader who was specifically just for linen. And I went and talked with him, and he had me visit the distribution center where linen was cleaned and then redistributed back to the hospitals. One of the troubles was that we just weren't getting linen in the right quantities and deliveries as well. So I worked with the distribution center to find out what troubles they were having giving us the right amounts of linen. Well, the problem was actually on our part. So we created a process to make sure we had a better count of all of the linen inside our linen room so we could better ask for the amounts we needed. That was a really simple fix. And we realized that we weren't doing this through an electronic means. Why not? A lot of other hospitals were. So we started using a tablet that stored all the information. And then we got staff to start using that same tablet for all of the different locations where linen needed to be. So now we were tracking it all electronically. But staff were still kind of confused about when and where they should be doing it. So we decided that if we only had, because before, you see, we had like 7 different employees stocking 7 different areas, kind of the areas that they were in charge of. We fixed it and made it to where there was only one person who was in charge of linen, and they would do it all at the beginning of the day. That allowed them to not have to walk back and forth so often, and they could do it all in one fell swoop. Got it to where they could put out the right linen levels at the beginning of each day for about an hour, and use the tablet to keep track of what linen they needed in the future. Anyway, that's what we did, and it really impacted complaints coming from different departments, which was one of the main deliverables we wanted to have. It decreased the time it took to complete linen each day, and honestly, it saved us money, about 10% of what we were spending before. We used to actually have higher levels in the clinic, in the hospital, than we did after the process. We actually ended up having less linen in the hospital overall, but we never had any complaints about not having enough. So we balanced everything out. And that was mostly because our levels were just way too high in some areas. And in the really key areas, they were too low. So we balanced it all out perfectly, reduced the time, and we had happier providers.